There's Pooh.
She's got a little honey.
They should travel together.
Oh yeah. We're moving. Yeah, I've got a buddy who Winnie the Pooh.
Don't take all my honey.
Moving along.
Hello.
Hello.
Who's excited?
All right.
Yes. Loud and proud.
There's that guy from Alabama right there.
Thanks for coming. Hey, thank you for coming. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming. How long is this line? Thanks for coming. Hey,
Thanks for having
it.
us. Yes.
Really enjoy it.
Yes.
All right.
Here we are entering the expo, and we are excited to get in here and see what all's going on. Get to see and meet everybody and talk to all the different folks that are going to be here today, buy some cool new stuff, all that. And now we're just going to go in here and enjoy what we're doing today. I'm not sure. This is an atria hive that Jason and I are looking at. They use these a lot over in European countries. As you can tell, you work them all from a back drawer. As a matter of fact, when you walk around at the front of these, they're actually on a drawer like your wardrobe system is. But we wanted to show some different things that were at the expo, and this is kind of neat, new to us here in the States.
Yeah. That ledge. I mean, by time. But yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
First day down at the Bee Expo. Had a good day.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Now we're just waiting on the bus to take us back to the hotel. Second day of the Bee Expo. Went in and bought a few things. Now we're sitting out here having coffee and drinking a little coffee and having some breakfast. I'm not. They are. And, waiting on to get our pictures taken for each state. And we plan to go in and do watch one of the speakers in here in just a little bit as well, so keep it on going.
28 Derbyshire Channel. Well, how did they keep it away?
Live.
There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.    There's no magic.   There's no magic.    There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   There's no magic.   The
unicorn horn powder or snake oil. It's all just real solid, straightforward, good information that came from decades and decades of blood, sweat, and tears. And so he's a real McCoy. So when I called him, I was a little bit nervous myself, and then it wasn't just, hey Bob, I just wanted to hear your voice on the other side of the phone. It was, hey Bob, I've been talking to some of my other YouTube buddies, and I really think you got some good YouTube videos, and I'd like to see you do more of it. And he was doing a few, and we talked about it, and thankfully he kept doing a lot more, and has done one just about every Sunday for several years now. And when I strapped that load to go up to Wisconsin, I was talking to Bob about it, and I watched one of his videos on how to strap bees down and how to make sure they had good ventilation and were very secure. And so I did the same thing, and I didn't have a problem, even though I've never done that before. And I probably could have figured out on my own after sending a couple off the highway. And I know Bob's done stuff like that before, but because Bob taught me how to do it, I didn't send a two-way pallet through someone's Toyota Prius. And so that's what all this is about, is information share, being able to bring everybody up together. And so I called him, and he started the YouTube videos. Then I asked him sometime later about speaking at my conference, and he agreed to that as well. And it was obviously brand new, and nobody knew what to expect. And I got shot down a lot. Even the second year, I got shot down a lot by a lot of people. And the third year, I got shot down a lot too. We're about at the point now we don't get shot down very much anymore. And that's kind of a nice position to be in. But Bob's been with us since we started this thing, and Bob's been a big influence on the culture of the Bee Expo and our previous conference, of which we will not mention. It's not funny. Actually, it's very funny. But so that being said, Bob might be a couple minutes early, but thank you so much for being with us for 5 years. You're precious to us, and valuable.
Well, after an introduction like that, there's no pressure at all. After listening to him go on and on and on about me yesterday, I thought I got to figure out a comeback. I've been racking my brain, and I told him I was racking my brain. He said, "Don't hurt yourself." But I must say, his mother came up afterwards and apologized profusely. I'm so sorry for my son. And to turn that back around, I remember getting the call and going, "Could this be the Caveman Reynolds?" I mean, that was good. It's all good. It's such a pleasure to be here. I get a little nervous and a little goofy every time I get up in front of this many people, but that's all okay. It takes me about a minute or two, and I settle down, and the jitters go away. So this is a big crowd, and it's a special event. Just to feel a part of this thing is special for me. And I have came from since the first one in Lebanon, Tennessee. There was 300 people there or something like that, and COVID was going on, and everybody was wearing masks, and I was very rebellious. I wouldn't wear a mask, so don't tell anybody. Yeah, I just probably gave you part of my political view. Forgive me for that. I won't go down that road very far. In fact, I've been very careful on my YouTube channel not to go down any of those roads, because I don't want to isolate people or make people, shy away from me because of my views or anything. But I think most beekeepers honestly have a lot of the same type of world views. It's kind of interesting that way. I was just talking to Natalie Summers' mother, Dawn, just yesterday, and she said this is such a unique community of beekeepers. You can have people from such a diverse walk of life sitting right next to each other, and they're conversing, and somebody that has a PhD and a lot of letters behind their name can be sitting beside somebody from Timbuktu, Tennessee, and he's listening to him, So it's that kind of community, and it's great. I feel lucky. Gosh, I feel like I've got friends in high places when I get around this community. I start talking to some of these professors and they talk to me like I'm one of their good friends. And you don't get that everywhere, trust me, you really don't. But in the beekeeping community, you do, and it is unique. I use the word weird, but that's the wrong word. It's unique, and Dawn said it's unique, and she's saying the right thing. Anyway, so that's my beginning. That's the start of my talk. I had to say something before I get into this. Requeening and queen acceptance. I actually gave this same talk at the very first Hive Life. Oops, Hive Life. I'm not supposed to say that. Hive Life in Lebanon, Tennessee, and it went over well then. I don't give it often. I've got a YouTube video on it that I gave a talk in Charleston, South Carolina, and recorded it. So this information is accessible on my YouTube channel. It's not a sophisticated talk. In fact, I'm a little nervous because there's not a lot of slides, and it's up to me to use the slides as a bullet point and then expound on that point. Excuse me. What you're going to We have them in our booth. Blue Ridge Honey Company out there. You can go look at it. I'm not telling you you got to buy it, but you can look at it and see how we built it. And I'll show another version in a moment. You can do this with any piece of plywood. It can be 3/8, it can be 3/4 like this one. We're using the same hole saw here that we use to put feeder holes in our lids. It's a 71 millimeter. Heat rises. You don't need the whole thing to be screened, although it's helpful. And then you do need screen on both sides. And the reason for that is you don't want the bees in the bottom underneath to be able to touch tongues with the bees that are above. Otherwise, the above may not realize their queenness. So that's the reason for the double screen. You don't want them to interact and share pheromones. There's another homemade version right here. This is Chris Werner's outfit, actually. He's got tons of these things. It's just 3/8 strips with 1/8" hardware cloth in between. It's divided by 3/8. Very easy. So why? Let's see. Okay, let's go back. We'll get to that part. So what's the magic? What's the deal here? Why is this so attractive? It's going back to losing the field force. If you create a nuke and pull it up out of the bottom and put it on the top and isolate them, all of the field force goes home. Now you've got nothing but young nurse bees in the colony that don't know their way back home. And guess what happens to your queen acceptance? It goes up dramatically. Now, another benefit of double screen boards is though initially they are lacking a lot of bees for expansion. And yeah, if they lose 50% of their bees, there's still enough warmth coming up from the strong colony below, so where they can manage limited amount of bees can take care of a large amount of brood. And all of those nurse bees are there alone, and they accept queens great. And the heat from the colony below, once they takes about 5 to 7 days. Suddenly you start to see brood in places you don't think it ought to be, because there's so much warmth up there that they can expand the brood nest very quickly. And 4 weeks later, when they start hatching their own bees, this little 2 frames or 3 frames of brood is suddenly 7 frames of bees, and you better be on time. And so what do you do for requeening? Now, if you can, and you have the time, and you can find the queen down below, kill her and just pull that thing out of there. There's no magic. People say, well, what about the newspaper? What about the this and that? No, it's not a big deal. If you're really worried about it, sprinkle a little sugar syrup on the top bars of the colony below. And I use this very colorful thing. Some of you have heard. I say by the time they're done licking each other off, they're all sisters. It's terrible, and it works. Now, there's a couple things here. You don't want the nuke up above to be a little bitty thing, and the colony below to be a big monster. Then you might have a problem. If that nuke up above is really strong, like 7 good, healthy, strong frames of bees, you don't really need to do anything. They're going to take care of that queen. And then wherever that crack is, or wherever that entrance, my boards, the entrance is on one corner. I just scoop the box a little bit and create a little entrance right there till the next time I come. So all that field force that's coming back to their old entrance, they go in that little crack I created. And they just, of course there's confusion, but the queen's up above, and so here's the other trick about this. I've been asked several times at this convention, what do I do if I don't want to expand? This is it. You split the colony at just the right time to keep them from swarming. You got to time this thing right. Maybe 2 weeks out before swarming season begins. You split this, take lots of brood out, create the nuke up above, and then you've gotten around that initial swarming season, and then you let that upper nuke build up to where it's pretty strong, and then you put them back together. You now only have one colony where you started with one, and guess what else you've got? You've got a frothy monster that's going to make a lot of honey if you time it right. What you're trying to do is time it so that if a colony of bees peaks before the major honey flow starts, the chance of them trying to swarm is great. If they peak in population after the honey flow starts, their chance of settling down and getting tunnel vision on a honey flow is great. So if you can time all this thing just right, you can keep swarming under control, and you can requeen your colony and make a lot more honey. That's one of my favorite methods. I gotta move quickly. Finding the work. This is a homemade version. It's 1/8" hardware cloth. It's 1 inch deep. That particular one is, I think, a 2.5 by 4. And you need it to be deep enough to go all the way to the midrib. And this is actually a place where beeswax foundation can be problematic because the bees can chew through from the other side. Works really good with plastic foundation. You can see how we folded it and cut out a little door there. We're going to release the queen under that cage, and then we're going to push it into the midrib. And what's behind it there is a few cells that are ready to hatch and a lot of open cells. So the bees that hatch inside that cage, that's mama. That's the only queen they know. And they'll start feeding her, and they'll tend the brood. If you leave her in there for 5 to 7 days and she gets her pheromone profile spread across the colony and she gets the laying, and your acceptance is excellent. And you just kind of come back in a week and take that cage off, and they're all happy that that's their mama now. It works. And when I get a $1,000 breeder queen, that's what I do right there.
Not bad.
Yeah, I do get $1,000 breeder queens. That sounds excessive. Remember, I'm at the fun stage now. That'll be fun. My wife says, so I had the guy I used to work for, said, he'd say, GD, he used the whole word, Jesus Christ, $1,000 for a bug?